Welcome to my channel. Great Voyage, Don't Disturb Laozi's Cultivation of Immortality. Chapter 1. Ouch, ah. Following a shrill scream. A wild boar half as tall as a man fell suddenly. After a few twitches, there was no movement at all. Li Xiao put away the spirit sword in his hand, dragging the wild boar carcass all the way to the beach. Skilled in gathering firewood to light a fire. Then use a thicker stick. Give the dead boar 1,000 years of death and hold it over the fire. Today, simply eat a roasted whole pig. Under the burning flame. The air seemed a little distorted. The golden fat drips slowly. Gradually, an alluring aroma of meat comes out. Li Xiao turned his head and looked at the endless sea, his eyes in a daze. Unknowingly, it has been a month since he came to this island. A month ago, Li Xiao is just one of thousands of netizens in Blue Star Dragon Kingdom. On weekdays, I like to read online articles when I have nothing to do. As a senior bookworm who has been reading for more than 10 years, my appetite has been developed long ago. Book shortages are a common occurrence. One night, Li Xiao finally found a good book with excellent content quality and update speed, great navigation, Don't Disturb Laozi's Cultivation of Immortality. So I couldn't help but hide in bed and stay up late watching it. As I looked at it, my eyes went dark and I fainted. When he woke up again, it has already appeared on this uninhabited island. Obviously, he has traveled through time. For this, Li Xiao didn't have much reaction. After all, this is the 21st century. Time travel. It's nothing unusual. But the key is, this way of traveling is a bit too much. Even if you let me go out and get hit by a car, that would be fine. Did you die suddenly after staying up late reading a novel? He almost had the 3 characters, physically weak, written on his forehead. Don't let Laozi catch you, the author of the evil pen. Otherwise I'll blow your head off. As the saying goes, Blue Star Travel has no shortage of systems. Those who traveled through time together with Li Xiao. There is also a cultivation check-in system. Very simple name. Just like its function. Li Xiao can check in at different locations. You can only clock in once a day, depending on the check-in location. Rewards also vary. The more special the location, the better the rewards you will get. However, you can only get the check-in reward once at the same location. Duplicate check-ins are not allowed. Besides, most of the rewards obtained by punching in are related to cultivating immortals. The first time you get the system, Li Xiao immediately chose to check in. However, the isolated island he was on was quite ordinary. Therefore, the check-in rewards are also very average. I just gave him a few pills to help him practice. Fortunately, the system has thoughtfully prepared a newbie gift package for you. Compared with the meager rewards you get by punching in, the novice gift package is much richer. Kung Fu, magic weapons, elixirs. Got it all. It can be said that except for the dog, all the equipment is available at the beginning. The only thing that made Li Xiao feel extremely nauseous was this time-traveling location. It's not a good place to go. But why did we come to such an uninhabited island? All around is the endless sea. Not even a human figure can be seen. If it weren't for the fact that there are some flora and fauna on this island, Li Xiao may have become the first time traveler in history to starve to death. In fact, until now, Li Xiao didn't even know what kind of world he had traveled to. But in the past month, Li Xiao has never been idle. In addition to eating, drinking and having diarrhea, all the time is devoted to practice. As a native of the Dragon Kingdom, the desire to cultivate immortality is almost engraved in DNA. Li Xiao, who came from time travel, had almost no confusion. After figuring out the system functions, soon he established his goal, to cultivate immortality and seek immortality. No one can stop me. I, Mr. Li, just want to cultivate immortality and seek immortality. If anyone interferes with my cultivation, I will be in a hurry. Name: Li Xiao. Cultivation: refining qi, late stage. Kung Fu: purple cloud transformation into pure truth. Magical powers: none. Magic weapon: green frost sword. Items: none. According to Li Xiao's understanding, the realms of cultivating immortals from low to high are refining essence to transform into qi, refining qi to transform into spirit, refining spirit to return to emptiness, and refining emptiness to combine with Tao. And Li Xiao relied on a month of hard training, plus with the blessing of elixirs. The cultivation level has broken through to the late stage of refining qi. Since there is no reference, Li Xiao doesn't know how this cultivation level is in this world. But according to Li Xiao's experiment, he can press all the beasts on the island to the ground and rub them. What? How did you experiment? This is not simple yet. Of course, beat them all up again. Thinking time. The roast pork is already cooked. It exudes an alluring fragrance. Li Xiao used the Qingshuang sword to cut off a piece. Just about to put it in your mouth. But suddenly he was stunned. Just now, from the corner of his eye, he seemed to see something appearing on the sea. Seems to be a ship. Li Xiao quickly turned around and looked. After seeing it clearly, there was an expression of surprise on his face. I saw on the sea not far away. A large sailboat is speeding towards this isolated island. Why? Wrong. Not a ship. There are two ships. In front of that large sailing ship, there is also a rather mini boat. It just looks inconspicuous in comparison. Therefore, Li Xiao did not notice it at the first time. According to Li Xiao's observation, at the moment it seems that the large sailing ship is catching up with the small ship in front. From time to time, there are even shells fired, falling around the boat. The waves cause the boat to rock. Etc. Cannonball. Is this the technology tree that should be highlighted in the world of cultivating immortals? Just when Li Xiao was stunned, the two ships have gradually approached the island. This distance, it was enough for Li Xiao to see clearly the people on the boat. However, the moment Li Xiao saw a certain figure on the boat clearly, everyone was confused. Long orange hair, slender figure, shoulder tattoos. Isn't this horse Nami? Li Xiao shifted his gaze back to the large sailing ship behind. Take a closer look. As expected, what was flying on the mast was clearly a pirate flag with a skull painted on it. This is a pirate ship. At this moment, Li Xiao finally understood. No wonder there is endless sea all around. Co-authored this is the world of pirates. Obviously what I was given was the Cultivation of Immortality check-in system. Why did you end up in the pirate world? What about the promised world of cultivating immortals? What a departure. Bah, dog author. Li Xiao stuffed a mouthful of steaming wild boar meat into his mouth with a speechless face. Thinking about eating meat will suppress your shock. Then he turned around and watched the two ships, one large and one small, getting closer and closer to him. Anyway, the appearance of these two ships is a good thing for Li Xiao. This means that he can finally leave this isolated island. It also represents, Li Xiao can go to other places to check in and get rewards in the future. Then, Cultivation of Immortality, seeking immortality. No matter what world you are in, there is a system in place. As long as we leave this uninhabited island, that means the sky is high enough for birds to fly, and the sea is wide enough for fish to jump. At this time, he took a small step toward reality. But it is a big step in the trajectory of life. Thinking of this, the speechlessness just now was forgotten. The corners of Li Xiao's mouth raised slightly involuntarily. After a while, the second before he was about to be overtaken by the pirate ship behind. The boat driven by Nami washed directly onto the shore. After rolling a few times, he landed next to Li Xiao. Immediately afterwards, the pirate ship also docked at the shore. A group of pirates armed with swords shouted and rushed down. The leader is a strong man, full of flesh, a tuft of red hair on the head, holding a huge mace. I saw him slam the mace in his hand on the ground. He said with a ferocious smile, "Run, run again. Let's see where else you can run. How dare you steal the belongings of our shark pirates? Hurry up and hand over your things honestly. Maybe we can consider sparing you alive." As soon as he finished speaking, Li Xiao hasn't reacted yet. Then I felt that my arm was suddenly surrounded by softness. Then he heard a voice coming from his ear. "Brother, I finally found you. They bullied me and wanted to steal my things. They chased me all the way. Wow wow." Li Xiao subconsciously turned around and looked. I saw Nami holding her arms and looking at me with tears in her eyes. What a pitiful look. Circled dot operator. Oh, circled dot operator. What? Am I not wearing it? Is the original person still related to Nami as brother and sister? It's not right. I remember Nami didn't have a brother at all. Thinking of this, Li Xiao suddenly reacted. There is a brother-sister relationship. This is obviously stealing someone else's things. Seeing that it is difficult to escape, I want to drag myself into the water. Well, this does seem like something Nami can do. At this time, after hearing what Nami said, everyone in the Shark Pirates turned their attention to Li Xiao. The strong man raised the mace in his hand, shouted to Li Xiao. "Oh, are you the thief's brother? No wonder she ran to this barren island. It turns out you were already here to help her. Since you insist on protecting her, I have no choice but to kill you first." After all, he waved slightly. The pirates behind him headed towards Li Xiao, wanting to take action. Seeing this, Li Xiao couldn't help but rub his eyebrows. A look of helplessness on his face. No, why did he have to protect her? I didn't even say a word from beginning to end. Can you respect the opinions of the parties concerned? Well, as the first group of people he met after coming to the pirate world. They are all idiots who grew their brains purely for height. This is very unlucky. At the same time, seeing that both sides are about to take action, Nami silently let go of Li Xiao's arm. Carefully, he began to move backwards. Prepare to take advantage of this opportunity to escape. However, just when she was about to stand up and leave quietly, a hand suddenly grabbed her arm. Drag her back. Nami looked up subconsciously. I saw Li Xiao looking at her with a smile on his face. He opened his mouth and said, "My dear sister, why are you running when your brother is here?" Hearing this, Nami couldn't help but look stiff. Subconsciously, I tried hard to pull my hand out. But he found that his hand seemed to be clamped by iron pliers. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free. It's over, I can't escape now." Nami looked sad. He forced out a smile and said, No, I just feel like my legs are numb, so I need to move some." Li Xiao looked at her deeply. No more words were said. Turn around and look to the other side. I saw several pirates rushing over with machetes in hand. Seeing this, not only did Li Xiao show no fear. On the contrary, I am a little eager to try it. After knowing that he was in a pirate world, Li Xiao is even more eager to know what level his current cultivation level is in the world of pirates. Now that I met Nami here, that means you should be in East Blue now. But Li Xiao, the strong man in front of him, had no impression at all. As for the shark pirates he mentioned, he has never heard of them either. It's probably a minion that didn't appear in the original work. As East Blue's low-profile pirate group, even the brawny captain estimated that the bounty was only a few million. The threat is quite small. Very suitable to become Li Xiao's first combat power measurement unit. It's too late. These thoughts just flashed through Li Xiao's mind. At this time, the pirates had already rushed to the front. The blade is close at hand. Li Xiao's expression remained unchanged. The spiritual power in the body moves. Holding the Qingxuang sword, he raised his hand and waved it. A light blue sword energy emerged. Head straight for the pirates. At such a close distance, several pirates didn't even have time to react. The sword energy has already cut off the long knife in his hand. There were splashes of blood in front of their murder. Then the whole person flew out. Seeing this, the brawny captain was stunned at first. Immediately he said angrily, "A bunch of trash. Boy, if you have a moment, let Laozi personally take you on your way." After all, he roared angrily. He picked up the mace in his hand and hit Li Xiao hard. Li Xiao's eyes flashed. He put his left hand on the ground and stood up. Facing this menacing blow, without the slightest intention to dodge, he raised his sword and charged straight forward. Fighting against each other, it's not as evenly matched as imagined. The seemingly thick mace was cut in half by the Qingxuang sword like it was cutting tofu. Then Qingxuang sword's power continued unabated. Go straight to the neck of the strong captain. The next second, as blood spurts out, the heavy body of the brawny captain collapsed. Seeing this scene, Nami, who was sitting behind Li Xiao, was stunned. Everyone in the shark pirates was also confused. Even Li Xiao himself was confused. That's it. Are you getting a lunchbox now? No, I'll just draw an A casually. Are you going to die? It looks big and thick. You didn't come out with a meat suit. Li Xiao slowly put away his sword, silently rubbing his eyebrows, quite distressed. It's over, what a mistake. This unfortunate thing is really a bit too weak. It doesn't function as a unit of measurement for combat power at all. Just when Li Xiao was stunned, the remaining pirates of the Shark Pirates have dispersed with a bang. They all ran towards the pirate ship on the sea. Looking at this posture, he is going to run away on the spot. Seeing this, Li Xiao suddenly became anxious. Holy shit. You ride on the horse and run back. Don't drive Laozi's boat. Just with Nami's little boat. But we may not be able to take him out of here safely. Therefore, from the beginning, Li Xiao has already set his sights on this pirate ship of the Shark Pirates. You can ignore the rest. But this ship must not be lost. His plan to cultivate immortality and seek immortality starts with this ship. If you touch Laozi's boat, you will block my road. Li Xiao's spiritual power is running. Kick your feet hard. The whole person jumped into the air instantly. After drawing a long arc in the air, it landed directly on the bow of the pirate ship. Li Xiao raised the green frost sword still dripping with blood in his hand. He casually killed a pirate who had tried to attack him before. He said coldly, "This ship is mine, do you understand? Are you going to jump down by yourself, or should I help you get down?" Hearing this, all the pirates in the Shark Pirates looked at each other. The pirate who had just climbed halfway up silently let go of his hands. "Let yourself fall freely into the sea." The pirates on the ship all came to the edge of the deck in unison. Then he jumped up, falling into the sea with a perfect entry posture. Some of these pirates immediately went upstream to the island after falling into the water. He ran straight to the depths of the island. I wish I could stay as far away from Li Xiao as possible. And the other part, I even just stayed in the sea. I haven't dared to go ashore for a long time. I was afraid that I would be killed easily by Li Xiao. Seeing the ship saved, Li Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. Turning around and looking, he saw Nami looking at him with a dumbfounded expression. He hasn't come back to his senses yet. In fact, the reason why she docked at this isolated island was. The reason is simple. Nami knew very well, with her little boat, it's impossible to escape the Shark Pirates. It's just a matter of time before I'm caught up. Therefore, in desperation, he could only choose a nearby island to dock. Trying to use the isolated island to make a deal. Then take the opportunity to escape. However, when she docked, she accidentally discovered Li Xiao, surviving alone on this isolated island, and can hunt wild boars half as tall as a man. Nami quickly analyzed the strength level of the person in front of him based on the existing conditions. Even if he loses to the Shark Pirates, there must be no problem in protecting yourself. That's why she deliberately dragged him into the water. I want him to buy some time for his escape. Everything went well up front. However, what she didn't expect was that, just when he was escaping secretly, he was caught. What she didn't expect even more was that, the strength of the man in front of her far exceeded her imagination. He didn't play a circling role at all. Instead, he killed the captain of the Shark Pirates with one sword. For a time, Nami was actually a little confused as to whether she was out of danger or not. Let's just say it doesn't count. The Shark Pirates have been disbanded on the spot. But let's have the final say. She always felt like she had stepped out of the tiger's den and into the wolf's den. Just when Nami was stunned, Li Xiao has returned from the pirate ship. He slowly sat down next to Nami and stuffed a piece of wild boar meat into his mouth. He turned to Nami and smiled. I don't remember that the little thief cat Nami is my sister. Hearing this, Nami was slightly startled. Immediately he reacted. You know me. I heard a little bit, but these are not important. We have to talk about something else now. After all, before Nami could react, Li Xiao continued. You and I have no grudges, we are strangers, yet you want to drag me into the water and make me face a group of brutal pirates. Although I was lucky enough to kill them in the end, it caused me great psychological trauma and frightened my young mind. So, to sum up, I'm asking you to pay for mental damages. Isn't that excessive? As soon as these words came out, Nami couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. Brutal, lucky, psychological trauma, young mind. When you say these words, You haven't touched your own conscience, are you still there? If I hadn't witnessed you slashing the captain of the shark pirates to death with my own eyes. By the way, if you also robbed someone else's pirate ship. Maybe I really believe it. But, when it comes to money. Nami immediately put on a pitiful look. Hold Li Xiao's arm again. He whispered, "Oh, I don't have any money. Do you think I'm a fool? You obviously stole the shark pirates' treasure and were hunted all the way here. Although the captain of the shark pirates has passed away peacefully, you can't ignore what he just said, okay?" Hearing this, Nami's movements suddenly froze. Zan even continued to deny, "I really have no money, and I don't know why they arrested me. They must have arrested the wrong person. We are just a poor ordinary girl passing by. If you don't believe me, look, I don't have any money on me." Saying, Nami even stood up and spun around. "I emptied every pocket in my body that could hold money." Showing that he really didn't lie. In this regard, Li Xiao absolutely doesn't believe it. If Nami really wanted to hide the treasure, most people really can't find it. And Li Xiao is no exception. Ever since, he chose another simpler and more efficient method. Li Xiao nodded thoughtfully and said, "As far as I know, this island is so remote that you can't see anyone for 10 days and a half. Tell me, what would happen if I sailed away and you stayed on this island with them?" As he spoke, Li Xiao pointed to the members of the shark pirates scattered everywhere. Hearing this, Nami's expression suddenly changed. If Li Xiao really left her alone and left her here, whether it's out of resentment towards oneself, or out of coveting for something like that, these members of the shark pirates will attack him without hesitation. It's not something to be afraid of if there are 3 or 5 people. The key is, all the living members of the shark pirates are here. Silence for a long time. Nami seemed to have made a lot of determination. Finally he spoke, "I can pay you for mental damages, but you have to take me away." Seeing Li Xiao nodding, Nami let out a long sigh. Reluctantly, he took out something from the front of the murderer. Seeing this, Li Xiao couldn't help being surprised. On the one hand, I was surprised by where Nami hid her things. Well, that's very Nami. On the other hand, I was surprised by what Nami brought out. It was a fruit with spiral patterns on its surface. It's devil fruit. Devil fruit, known as the secret treasure on the sea. As a major component of the pirate world's combat power system, every devil fruit is a priceless treasure. Even the most common zone devil fruit. The market price is at least 100 million Baileys. Li Xiao originally thought that Nami just stole the treasure accumulated by the shark pirates. Unexpectedly, this little thieving cat actually stole a devil fruit. Good guy. No wonder he was chased all the way. Judging by the strength of this pirate group, this devil fruit was either obtained by chance. Either he spent countless years of savings and lost everything to buy it. It was probably prepared for him by the brawny captain of the shark pirates. As a result, it was stolen before I could eat it. Who is not in a hurry this time? It's a pity that the appearance of this devil fruit is not within the range that Li Xiao is familiar with. There is currently no devil fruit illustrated book for comparison. Therefore, Li Xiao didn't know what the devil fruit in his hand was. For devil fruit, Li Xiao is still quite curious. Even if he is an ordinary person, as long as you eat the devil fruit, you can quickly develop combat effectiveness. If it is Logia or a rare species of phantom beast, you can even leap into the ranks of the powerful with your fruit abilities. At least it's enough to run rampant in most situations within the 4 seas. It can be said that among the several combat power systems in the world of pirates, it is the easiest to achieve quickly. But Li Xiao was just curious. If there are no side effects, he might also consider it normal devil fruit. He was completely disdainful. In charge of the cultivation clock card system. In Li Xiao's eyes, cultivation of immortality and seeking immortality is your own path. After looking at it for a while, Li Xiao casually put the devil fruit aside. Then he continued to cook. Life is alive. Only immortality and delicious food can't be let down. One Piece world, if nothing else. The meat of this beast is really good. Even without seasoning, it tastes amazing. By comparison, Nami looked lost and depressed at this time, sitting on the ground with his hands around his knees, staring blankly at the devil fruit beside him. It was as if his soul had been taken away. In this regard, Li Xiao didn't say much. Just cook in silence. After a while, eat and drink enough, Li Xiao stood up, picked up the devil fruit and walked towards the pirate ship. Seeing this, Nami quickly followed. His eyes followed the devil fruit in Li Xiao's hand closely. On deck, Li Xiao and Nami stood opposite each other. Looking at each other, big eyes and small eyes. After a long silence, Li Xiao just said, "What are you doing standing still? Let's go sail the boat." Hearing this, Nami's eyes suddenly widened. He immediately asked, "Why do you want me to sail the boat? There are only 2 of us on this boat. If you don't go, why should I? But I gave you the devil fruit. That's just letting you get on the boat, it doesn't mean I'm going to drive the boat for you. What's more, I can't sail a boat." In the end, Nami was so angry that she ran to sail the boat. After a while, the ship set sail. Li Xiao found a deck chair from the cabin and moved it to the deck. Just lie down facing the sea breeze. Feeling the wet and salty smell of the sea breeze. I feel quite happy. Finally left that deserted island. What will greet him next will be the sea of stars. Li Xiao can't wait to check in next time. Traveling through a full month. I just stepped on the horse and clocked in once. It's still such a broken place. It's really frustrating. After the navigation is stable, Nami just returned to the deck. Standing next to Li Xiao. Looking at him with resentment on his face. Like a frustrated little daughter-in-law. "Hey, you're back. Now that you have some free time, come on, give me a shoulder squeeze and relax." Hearing this, Nami was immediately furious. He yelled at Li Xiao. "Don't go too far. Driving the boat for you is my bottom line. I was just thinking about whether to return the devil fruit to you after we get off the ship. From the looks of it." Before he finished speaking, a pair of soft and slender hands fell on Li Xiao's shoulders. The bottom line can also be floated. After one day, Li Xiao stood on the bow and looked out. I saw not far ahead. A piece of land is getting closer and closer. After a day, the two finally arrived at the destination of their trip. That is Nami's hometown, Kokoja village. Li Xiao turned his head and looked behind him. I saw Nami holding the devil fruit and giggling. His face was filled with visible happiness. Seeing that we are about to arrive at Kokoja village, Li Xiao finally returned the devil fruit to her. On the one hand, it was indeed thanks to herself that she was able to leave the island smoothly. Arrive safely at Kokoja village after a day's sailing. On the other hand, Li Xiao really has no idea about devil fruit. From the outside, this devil fruit is not the powerful and special fruit in the original work. Most likely just an ordinary zone or paramesha. At the moment, I don't have any suitable storage means. It's too much trouble to carry this thing around. Ever since, he simply returned it to Nami. Stop looking, we're about to dock, hurry up and take the helm. Oh, got it. After a while, the ship docked. The two jumped off the boat one after another. At this time, Nami has returned to the empty-handed state again. Devil fruit has disappeared. I guess I was hidden back to my old place. However, at this time, Li Xiao had no intention of thinking about anything else. The moment I set foot on Kokoja village, he immediately chose to check in. Ding, congratulations to host for successfully checking in. Ding, congratulations to host for receiving the reward Shanghai Swordsmanship. Ding, congratulations to host for getting the reward Spirit Gathering Pill *3. Ding, congratulations to host for getting the reward Purple Gold Exquisite Tower. Look, this is called punching in. What kind of things were given to me when I checked in on that isolated island before? I was rewarded with a few spirit gathering pills. Here are the beggars. Li Xiao even thought that what he got was a hellish script. Until now, he finally felt relieved. It seems that the script is correct. It should be easy difficulty without a doubt. Li Xiao came back to his senses. Focus on the rewards you get. First, there are 3 spirit gathering pills. There's nothing much to say about this. These are included in Li Xiao's first check-in and the rewards obtained from the novice gift package. After taking it, you can increase your practice speed. The effects of each pill last for 3 hours. The rewards that really concern Li Xiao are the other 2. Mountain and Sea Swordsmanship, and Purple Gold Exquisite Pagoda. Mountain and sea swordsmanship belongs to magical powers. It is an excellent swordsmanship. Every move has the power of mountains and seas. Open and close. Unrivaled in power. Suppress everything. For Li Xiao, this swordsmanship comes at the right time. Although today Li Xiao has already reached the advanced stage of refining qi. But in fact, it's just a lack of cultivation. Lack of an attack method. The Shanhai swordsmanship is a very offensive swordsmanship. The target is head-on confrontation. It can just make up for this shortcoming of Li Xiao. Although the cultivation level has not been improved, but it greatly increased its combat power. And mountain and sea swordsmanship is a reward obtained by punching in. There is no need for Li Xiao to understand by himself. The system will help him master this swordsmanship instantly. Besides, another reward, purple gold exquisite tower. Li Xiao was even more surprised. This is actually a magic weapon. And it's also an excellent defensive weapon. Although the specific power remains to be tested. But according to the information given by the system, as long as there is not much difference in strength, sacrificing the purple gold exquisite tower is enough to make yourself invincible. Li Xiao's positioning of his own strength is not very clear now. In this case, the value of an excellent defensive method is much higher than that of offensive methods. In general, the swordsmanship of mountains and seas and the purple gold exquisite pagoda. One attack and one defense. Greatly improved Li Xiao's combat methods. The strength has more than doubled. At the same time, just when Li Xiao was deeply immersed in the check-in rewards and couldn't extricate himself. In Nami's eyes, Li Xiao has been stunned in place since he landed on the beach. Like a statue. I don't know what I'm thinking. So after hesitating for a moment, she still reached out and tugged Li Xiao's arm. He said, "Hey, where are you going next?" Li Xiao came back to his senses and responded casually. "Oh, let's find a place to stay for now." Hearing this, Nami paused. Continue to ask, "If you don't mind, you can stay at my house temporarily, and I will repay you for helping me to save the shark pirates from chasing me." After this day of getting along, Nami also had a preliminary understanding of Li Xiao. In her opinion, Li Xiao shouldn't be a bad person. In addition, Li Xiao helped her escape from the shark pirates after all. He even returned the devil fruit to her. Therefore, to the best of our ability, Nami doesn't mind providing some help to Li Xiao. After hearing what Nami said, Li Xiao was slightly startled. After thinking for a moment, he agreed. Although he has completed checking in at Kokoja village. But there is no rush to leave right now. Although Shanhai swordsmanship is directly mastered with the help of the system, there is no need to refine the purple gold exquisite pagoda by yourself. However, the specific use remains to be further understood and explored. Instead of looking for a place to stay by yourself, it's better to live directly at Nami's house. It also saves trouble. Subsequently, under the leadership of Nami, the two walked into Kokoja village, heading straight towards Nami's house. Passing through a small orange grove, a wooden house appeared in front of me. Not even close yet. Nami couldn't wait to shout, "Nogi-go." The words fell. Within a few seconds, the door of the wooden house was opened. A woman older than Nami came out of the house. Blue-purple hair. Slightly dark skin. This person is none other than Nami's sister, Nokigao. Seeing Nami's figure, Nashigao suddenly showed a smile on his face. He waved to Nami and said, "Ah, Nami is back." Subsequently, she noticed Li Xiao following Nami. So he cast a doubtful look at Nami, obviously asking about Li Xiao's identity. Nami hugged Nokigao. Pointing at Li Xiao, he introduced, "This is my new friend Li Xiao, staying here for a while." Hearing this, Nuo Chigao nodded and said with a smile, "Then come in quickly. By coincidence, I've just finished cooking. Let's eat first." At this time, it's almost noon. Although Li Xiao robbed the shark pirates' pirate ship, but unfortunately, there was not much food left on their ship. It seems that the food is almost exhausted. He was eager to hunt down Nami again. Didn't even have time to add anything. Ever since. On the way, the two of them could only get some fish from the sea to eat. Barely enough to cushion my stomach. Now the two of them are already hungry. So when I entered the house, I started to indulge in cooking. Speaking of which, This is the first serious meal Li Xiao has eaten since traveling through time. Before that, Li Xiaodu can only hunt wild beasts. Simply bake and eat. Some shortcomings are that Nuo Qigao's cooking skills are relatively average. The ingredients are far from rich, with mostly vegetarian dishes. Li Xiao couldn't help but think of the sea restaurant. Thinking about when to go to a sea restaurant. Have a good taste of the delicacies of the pirate world. As a gathering place for many excellent chefs in East Blue. I'm sure you won't be disappointed there. After dinner. Before Nokigao could say a few words, Nami ran out in a hurry. Said he had something urgent to deal with. And Li Xiao didn't stay at home either. He needed to find a suitable place to learn more about the Shanghai swordsmanship and the purple gold exquisite pagoda he had just acquired. And Nami's home is obviously not a suitable place. This sword goes down if you accidentally use too much force. Then tonight, I, Nami, and Nuo Qigao will use the sky as a quilt and the earth as a seat. Certainly. Facing this circumstances, Nami most likely won't be sad. She would just lie on the ground, thinking about how many Baileys he can knock. Then thank Lao Tai for sending me the first-class Thompson product. Li Xiao found a deserted and remote place along the seaside. The right hand moves slightly. The blue frost sword is unsheathed. Then he swung his sword towards the sea. Shanghai swordsmanship. At the same time, Dragon Realm. In a room in the castle filled with nautical charts. Nami and the dragon sat opposite each other. The evil dragon folded his hands in front of the evil dragon and laughed. Hey, my dear navigator, why did you suddenly think of coming to see me? Nami glanced at him and asked. You still remember our agreement, right? The evil dragon was slightly startled. Zan even reacted and said. That's natural. Why, you've already collected 100 million Baileys. Nami took out the devil fruit from her arms. Put it on the table. Slowly he said. This is a devil fruit. Although I don't know exactly what fruit it is. But on the black market, even the most common zone devil fruit costs more than 100 million belly. This devil fruit is enough for me to buy back the village. Quote. Looking at the devil fruit placed on the table, the evil dragon couldn't help but show a surprised expression. In fact, these years, how much money is saved in Nami's small vault? The evil dragon always knew it. Once it really reaches 100 million Baileys. Of course he has a way to dispose of the money. This allowed Nami to continue to stay in his pirate group to draw sea charts for him. According to his understanding, although Nami's small treasury has almost accumulated 100 million belly. But it will take some time to fully calculate. So there was no rush to take action. However, what he didn't expect was that Nami got a devil fruit from nowhere. After a moment of silence, the evil dragon picked up the devil fruit, looked at it, smiled and said slowly. Yes, this devil fruit is worth 100 million Baileys. Hearing this, the corners of Nami's mouth couldn't help but raise slightly. However, before she could say anything, the evil dragon's next words made her smile freeze instantly. But our agreement is for 100 million belly. Not a devil fruit. Nami subconsciously retorted. Yes, but this devil fruit is worth at least 100 million belly. The evil dragon shook his head and said. Nami, I said, our agreement is that you use 100 million belly in exchange for the village and your freedom, not a devil fruit. This has nothing to do with the value. Then you give me back the devil fruit, and I'll sell it, and then come to you with Bailey. With that said, Nami reached out to grab the devil fruit from the evil dragon's hand. However, the evil dragon's hand holding devil fruit suddenly shrank back and dodged. He weighed the devil fruit in his hand, smiled at Nami and said. Ha 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 ha. Pay you back. Why should I pay you back? Don't forget, you are a leader of the dragon pirates. Isn't it the right thing to hand over the loot? Hearing this, Nami suddenly became angry. He slammed the table violently. Roared, evil dragon, don't go too far, give me back the devil fruit. As soon as these words came out, the evil dragon's smile suddenly faded. His whole face slowly turned cold. He leaned forward slightly. He said coldly, why, don't you plan to fulfill our agreement? As a punishment for breaking the agreement, the village's protection fee will be doubled again this month. Nami's hands clenched into fists. So powerful. Even my nails have dug into my heart. The palms of my hands were gradually soaked red with blood. At this time, the anger in her heart could no longer be increased. I wish I could punch the evil dragon in the face. But she can't do this. These years, in order to collect these 100 million belly, she tried every means she could. Now I finally got a devil fruit worth 100 million baileys. I thought I could finally exchange for the freedom of the villagers and the tranquility of Kokoja village. Unexpectedly, it suddenly became empty. This huge psychological gap. It almost made her despair. Nami really wants to fight the dragon right now. But she knew very well that she couldn't do this. Because the strength gap is really too big. In front of the evil dragon, I have no power to resist at all. He can kill himself easily. Even massacred the entire Kokoja village. Only by continuing to maintain that agreement. There is only a faint glimmer of hope. At least the lives of the villagers in Kokoja village can be saved. Silence for a long time. Nami's clenched hand slowly loosened. He lowered his head and said slowly, Okay, I understand, I will earn another 100 million baileys. Seeing this, the evil dragon couldn't help laughing. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. At this moment, the wall on one side of the room suddenly broke open. A blue long sword shining with cold light came out of the smoke and dust. Slash straight at the laughing evil dragon. The evil dragon's expression changed instantly. In a hurry, he only had time to put his hands in front of him. The next second, the blue long sword slashed at his arms. The whole person flew out instantly, crashed through the wall and fall directly into the sea behind the castle. How unpleasant it is to laugh, don't you think you have something to worry about? Li Xiao scratched his ears, turning to look at Nami who was still sitting at the table. He shook his head helplessly and said, Do you believe the pirate's promise? The moment I saw Li Xiao, Nami finally couldn't hold it any longer. She bit her lip tightly. Let the tears flow freely down your cheeks. In fact, at the beginning, when Nami went out, Li Xiao really didn't care. It wasn't until later that I suddenly remembered. She carries devil fruit. Most likely he went to find the evil dragon to fulfill his agreement. Li Xiao knows very well. This agreement is completely meaningless. The evil dragon will never let Nami go free. A conflict is likely to break out between the two sides. So he followed. But this is only part of the reason. Besides, Li Xiao has other purposes. The strong captain of the shark pirates was too weak. It doesn't play a role in judging combat effectiveness at all. The strength of the evil dragon is undoubtedly much stronger. It should be enough to help you initially judge where your current strength is in the pirate world. And after all, the evil dragon has a bounty of 20 million belly. Kill him and go to Marine to claim the bounty. Then we'll have to pay for food at the restaurant on the sea. Just when Li Xiao was still figuring out how long 20 million belly would be enough for him to work at a restaurant on the sea. On the sea, the dragon's head suddenly emerged from the bottom of the water. As a fishman, the sea is his home field. Even if he was blown away from the castle by Li Xiao, fell to the bottom of the sea, you can still float to the surface easily. However, take a closer look. I saw that the water around the dragon was slightly red. It was the color of blood mixed with seawater. The evil dragon raised his hands. Looking down, I saw a deep wound on the outside of my arm. Blood is constantly oozing out. The dragon looked up at the castle. Through the human-shaped hole he made in the wall, I saw a young man holding a sword. The long green sword in his hand. Surprisingly, he was the culprit who caused the wound on his arm. You brat, you're looking for death. The evil dragon roared angrily. Immediately, he exerted force on his feet. Jump up directly. With the help of several landing points outside the castle. Quickly returned to the previous room. However, before he could stand firm, then he saw a size 42 shoe sole quickly enlarged in front of his eyes. Immediately afterwards, with a sharp pain on his face, the whole person flew out instantly. Got blown out of the castle again. But this time he didn't fall into the water. Instead, it landed in the square below the castle, stirring up bursts of dust. Li Xiao rubbed Nami's hair and whispered, Stay here and wait for me. After all, Li Xiao jumped down. He fell directly in front of the evil dragon. At the same time, the evil dragon has also stood up. Surrounding him were many crew members of the dragon pirates. They are all fishmen. They held weapons and stared at Li Xiao with ferocious expressions. He looked like he was ready to be swarmed at any time. At this time, the evil dragon, due to being bombarded from the castle twice in a row by Li Xiao, a lot of dust mixed with seawater stuck to his body. There are still a lot of scratches on the surface of the skin, which looks quite embarrassing. But in fact, for the strong physique of the fishman, in addition to the sword wound on his arm, the rest are just superficial wounds. It is worth mentioning that, until this moment, the devil fruit is still tightly held by the evil dragon. Even after being blasted away by Li Xiao twice, he didn't lose it. Obviously, even for evil dragons, this devil fruit is also quite precious. Li Xiao stretched out his left hand towards him and said, "Hey, let's talk about it. How about you return the devil fruit to me and I'll cut you 2 less swords later." Hearing this, the evil dragon, who was already simmering with anger, suddenly couldn't hold it in any longer. He immediately became furious. I don't even plan to say harsh words. He just took out his big saw blade. He slashed Li Xiao with one knife. Seeing this, Li Xiao raised his eyebrows. Hold the Qingshuang sword horizontally in front of you. He blocked the knife easily. And the evil dragon obviously has quite a lot of fighting experience. Seeing that the knife was blocked, without hesitation, he raised his foot and blasted towards Li Xiao's side. Li Xiao immediately took a small step back, just barely dodged the blow. At the same time, the right hand exerts slight force. Push the big saw blade aside. The Qingshuang sword also made a small wound on the back of the evil dragon's hand. Although Li Xiao still doesn't know what level his strength is in the pirate world. But to deal with a mere evil dragon, still a breeze. Therefore, in order to judge your own strength more accurately, Li Xiao did not go all out. It can even be said that only a small part of the power is used. Even so, it is also enough to easily deal with the dragon's attack. The evil dragon kept attacking Li Xiao with a big saw blade. One knife after another. Aggressive. Li Xiao, on the other hand, took advantage of every opportunity. From time to time, I have to give in a few steps. Seemingly at a disadvantage. In fact, the jumpsuit kakuzu is not torn. The whole person looks calm and unhurried. Occasionally strike back. This made the evil dragon unable to resist, causing him to panic for a while. The fishmen of the dragon pirates had already dispersed. The battle between Li Xiao and the evil dragon left them completely unable to intervene and could only watch from a distance. After about a few minutes, Li Xiao roughly judged his own strength level, almost equivalent to Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral. Although there is still some gap between him and those top guys. But this strength coupled with the defensive treasure purple gold Linglong Tower, it should be enough to protect yourself. Especially within the 4 seas. You can almost walk sideways. Not to mention, despite all my efforts, I have only practiced for a month. I only checked in twice. When I go to the Grand Line in New World, maybe you can already hold Admiral with your hands and 4 Emperors with your feet. Certainly, as long as you don't take the initiative to cause trouble for yourself. He won't just sit around and fight around. After all, cultivating immortality and seeking immortality is my path, Mr. Li. As long as you don't disturb Laozi's cultivation, you can do whatever you like. Anyway, now that you have roughly judged your own strength level, Li Xiao didn't want to play house anymore with the ugly thing in front of him. Your mission has been completed, it's time to get your lunch box. Li Xiao's face straightened immediately. The spiritual power in the body moves. The blue frost sword emits bursts of green light. Then he cut it down with a sword. Shanghai swordsmanship. This sword, carrying the power to break mountains and suppress seas. Even if Li Xiao is just a little more serious, its power is still so powerful that the evil dragon's expression changes instantly. Swords meet. The big saw blade in the evil dragon's hand was instantly chopped into pieces like a piece of wood. This sword fell heavily in front of the evil dragon. Blow it away instantly. It smashed through several walls before stopping. The whole person lay motionless on the ground. Blood flowed out along the ground. Look at that look. Even if he's not dead, he only has 1 breath left. Seeing this, the murlocs of the dragon pirates who were watching around were all shocked. He quickly ran to the side of the evil dragon. Check on him. Under the guidance of the ship's doctor, we hurriedly helped him stop the bleeding. And some fishmen were holding swords and were about to rush towards Li Xiao. However, seeing Li Xiao turning to look at them, the green frost sword in his hand moved slightly. They all stopped involuntarily again, silently changed direction, follow the large army and run towards the dying dragon. After all, the captain has received a lunch box. With their three-legged cat skills. What a fart. That's not the old man eating arsenic, it's too long for his life. Ever since, I saw the center point of the unconscious dragon lying on the ground. There was a circle of murlocs all around. Everyone's face was full of concern. Except for the fishman in the innermost part who was busy. The fishmen in the outer circle just silently paid attention. But he turned a blind eye to the culprit not far away. Seeing this, Li Xiao has no plans to continue taking action. After all, he is not a murderous person. Li Xiao walked aside. Bent down and picked up the devil fruit that fell to the ground during the battle. Then he turned and walked towards the castle. Back to the room where Nami was. At this time, Nami is still sitting at the table. The tears have stopped, but his face was already crying. There are some traces of blood on the lips. It seemed that she had bitten it herself. She stared at the table blankly. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Li Xiao slowly approached. Blow the dust off the devil fruit. Put it in front of Nami. Slowly said. No, I got your devil fruit back for you. Also, I have dealt with the evil dragon. You don't need to save the 100 million belly anymore. Kokoja village is free. Hearing this, Nami raised her head suddenly. Grabbed Li Xiao's hand. Asked further. What did you say? The dragon is dead. That's not necessarily true, but even if you don't die, you won't have a few breaths. You can go and see it by yourself. The evil dragon has thoughtfully prepared the best viewing spot for you. Saying, Li Xiao pointed to the wall on one side. There is a huge hole there caused by the evil dragon being bombarded by him twice before. As soon as Li Xiao finished speaking, Nami stood up suddenly and rushed to the entrance of the cave. Look down. From this angle, at a glance, he saw the evil dragon surrounded by a group of murlocs. At this time, he was lying on the ground motionless, his life or death unknown. Seeing this, Nami suddenly collapsed on the ground. Murmured, the village, everyone, is free. As he spoke, the tears that had just stopped for a while began to flow out again. By the way, I have to tell everyone the news quickly. Nami wiped her tears. He got up and ran to the stairs. He quickly ran downstairs in 3 steps and then 2 steps. Hey, don't you want devil fruit? However, Nami had no intention of paying attention to him. After going downstairs, we ran straight towards Kokoja village. Seeing this, Li Xiao shook his head helplessly. I could only pick up the devil fruit that I just put down and go downstairs. However, Li Xiao did not return to Kokoxia village. Although he defeated the evil dragon and freed the villagers of Kokoja village. But fundamentally, the reason why Li Xiao took action was because, or for your own purposes, he does not think of himself as some noble savior. There is no need to run to accept the gratitude of the villagers. Not to mention, although the evil dragon has been dealt with by himself now, but the dragon pirates still need to be dealt with properly. Every member of the crew is a walking Bailey, there is no reason to waste it. After all, there is systematic help for cultivating immortality. But cooking still costs money. There are so many delicacies in the pirate world. Naturally, Li Xiao will not miss it. Now save more food money, so that you won't cry when you look at the empty bowl later. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe my channel.